All right, so guys, it was a victory, a very good performance by the Blues at the Stamford Bridge as they faced Luton Town in Carabao's Cup. Okay, so the Blues or Chelsea, led the game by 2 goals to nil, and the goals were scored. The very first goal was scored by Daniel Welbeck in the 50th minute, just 5 minutes after the resumption of the second half, and then of course the 69th minute it was an own goal by Odofen. Yes, one of the defenders just miscalculated, misread the ball, and at that point there was so little that he could do about the ball because Estivao, put up a very strong shot, and that shot across. Although it appeared that he was looking for a Chelsea or a blue jersey to kick it in, there wasn't anybody there who would just put the ball inside, and so because the ball appeared to be already entering the goalpost, and so it was so close to the line, and there was, like I said, there was so little that their defender out of it could do. Okay, so Xabi Alonso decided to play the 4-2-3-1 formation for the Blues. The goalkeeper was not, or is not, Sanchez. Sanchez has come under some criticism, right? But it wasn't Sanchez. Then it be Mike Pendes. So it was Mike Pendes who, represented the Blues in the goal post. And then for the defenders, Malo Gusto started, Josh Champon, Maxence Lacroix, and Pep Chavaria. So Malo Gusto was playing number 2. Josh Achampon played 4. Macro, Maxence Lacroix 5. And then Pep Chavaria was our left fullback. Pep Jaffaria. For midfielders, he decided to use Rhys James and Valentin Baku. Valentin Baku and Rhys James were the 6 and 8. Of course, Rhys James was number 6. Valentin Baku was allowed to, search for it with the ball and also take on, try to create even some spaces and then create some chances for the Blues. And the attacking midfielders, we had Estivao, Kulpama, and Morgan Rogers. Estivao, Kulpama, and Morgan Rogers. For the second time, Kulpama has shown that this season, as far as this season is concerned, I don't know, there's this thing about his fitness level. The guy they play, bro. You can easily compare his performance to that of last season's performance. This season, Kulpama is on fire. It appears that he's well rested. It appears everything psychologically. He's also, I think there's something going on with Kopama. Psychologically, the man is in tune. Or is it got to do with Enzo Maresca? Is it got to do with our former coach? Because he's getting things right in this game. You should see. And although the team we played against, Luton Town, was a third tier side, he still, because they still posed a great contender to the Blues, right? And of course, apart from one or two, weaknesses or one or two things that I disagreed with Kopama on the field of play, Kopama pulled some great work. I watched the first half. I watched some bits of the first half. I watched the entire second half. And Kopama was used the energy, used the pace that he got, tried to, create chances. He got a chance. I believed he should have. When Estevao, we had an attack, right? So Estevao plays the ball, gave the ball to him, but Estevao was torn between uh, uh, drop. No, was torn between Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer. And you know what? If you watch the video well, if you watch the game well, you'd realize that Morgan Rogers was in a better position to receive the ball as compared to Cole Palmer. Oh yes, because for where Kopama was at, you could see two players. So he was sandwiched. He was sandwiched between two players. There was a possibility that the moment he gets the ball, the Luton Town defenders were going to clamp down on him, and they did perfectly that, and they dispossessed him because there was no way. Because if you watch, the defender had to drag him out, had to push him out, even out, try to force him out of the 18-yard box. But if you had given the ball earlier to Morgan Rogers, the ball would have just, let all of them. It would have dictated the pace, and he was in a better position to just strike as compared to Kopama because Kopama was rather being, engulfed by two players because they perceived or they could envisage that the ball would go to Kopama. So you were good. You should have used Kopama as the decoy to get against the players, against the defenders, and then give the ball to Morgan Rogers. By the time they would realize that the ball is not with Kopama, but it is with Morgan Rogers, there would be some seconds late. So decision making is very, very important. I understand that Estevao also did well. Someone can say that no, Estevao still gave the ball to Kopama, but Kopama should have been a bit selfless, because if you watch the ball, Kopama, the moment he had the ball, he should have just placed the ball up front for Morgan Rogers. We would have had 3 goals today. The Chelsea, the Blues would have netted 3 goals today. But for Kopama's, or should I say, indecisiveness or some selfishness on his part, he was not able, because he wanted to, wanted to make sure that he also records his name in the score sheet. And of course, England's manager, I'm talking about the head coach of the English national team, the Three Lions. I'm referring to Thomas Tuchel, was also in the stands. Thomas Tuchel was also watching, clearly for Morgan Rogers, for Cole Palmer, and maybe for other few players. But he was in the stands watching, and you could tell that he wanted to see what Cole Palmer would do. And it is Cole Palmer's inclusion into the national team that matters most to the coach or the head coach of the English national team, because he was not part of the World Cup. And they will be playing some qualifiers very soon. And it is important that he takes a decision whether to incorporate Cole Palmer or to leave him. So that is about it. The goal, like I said, was Danny Welbeck. Finally, there's some good competition, because Liam Delap was not able to prove that he was going to be a very good contender as far as the forward is concerned. But with the introduction of Danny Welbeck, and guess what? Danny Welbeck scores his first goal for Chelsea in 2026-2027 season. He comes in, he gets a header, and that is all he strikes. After becoming a Chelsea player, this is his first goal for the Blues at the Stamford Bridge. And so it tells us that Joao Pedro will now have a good run for his money, and might, if it does not take care, might be replaced by Dan Welbeck, who also has a lot of field experience. All right. So at the end of the day, it was a good showing by the Blues. The Chelsea players did so well. He brought some players from the bench, Pedro Neto, Joao Pedro, and a few others, right? Because our next game is against Brighton this weekend. And so we needed to rest some players, but introduce them so that they can at least pick some form. It will really, really help them. So, guys, what do you have to say about the game? Were you impressed? Were you impressed by the coaches, Xabi Alonso's decisions and all that? Well, I should say that I was happy, and I hope the players would. I'm sure there are one or two things that we can still talk about when it comes to the lapses, right? But for a player like Baku, I think there is some room for improvement. And let us see how his, chemistry together with Caicedo when he rejoins the team, how it is going to be. My name is Melo. This is Chelsea's headquarters. Chelsea headquarters. Everything Chelsea. Everything that has to do with the Chelsea football team. That is what we are here to discuss. All right, so subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, give a video a thumbs up. Until we meet again, I'll see you in the next one.